Abdurrahman. I'm a lecturer at a public university in Kenya. I deliver lectures in computing and informatics. In our last lesson, we talked about a local variable. Into that particular local variable, we talked about that it is defined as the one which is actually declared within either a function or a block. Today we are going to take up a step further and we are going to answer ourselves what are the global variables in a function. And into that particular journey, we are going to take up the definition, the syntax, and then finally finishing up with an implementation. So let's see what is actually a global variable. So a global variable, basically they are the ones which they are declared outside all functions. That's very important because we can see that a C program at least will have one function that is actually the main function. And also should be very important to understand that they can be accessed by all functions inside and within all the blocks. So also we should understand that global variables also their lifespan is when the program exits. So their lifetime, it will be all the time until the program actually exits. So that actually takes us to the syntax of a global variable. So global variable, the syntax basically will be, let's take for example, if you've got a program and here we have our hash include standard input output. So before we are writing up any function and including the main function, we declare our global variable. So for example, I can say int a, this will be my global variable. And this particular global variable should be accessed by all functions, including our int main and any other function. For example, here, if you've got a function called void sum, also will be accessed. So it can be accessed here without any definition. I can say a is equal to 10, and also I can say here a is equal to 20. So that also will be right. So that takes us into that particular definition. However, during implementation of this particular global variable, there is one thing which is very important. All global variables necessarily, they are not necessarily to be initiated, because all global variables have what you call a default value. For integer, there is a default value of 0, while for float, there is a default value of 0.0, and that also will go for double. We'll have a default value of 0.0, while for character, we'll have a default value of null, which is represented by O, a blank, and O, a null. While for pointers, we'll have a default value of null. So basically, a global value when they are initialized, actually they have got those particular values. So let's go back into our dev C++ and see actually these particular concepts, if they hold or not. So let's declare a few global variable here. Maybe I can have my int a, can have my float b, I can have my char c. So here I have three global variables which I've declared up here, and this basically what we are saying, it's going to give us a default value with default value of 0, while this is going to give us a default value of 0.00, and this one is going to give us a default value this one is going to give us a default value of either null or a blank. So let's put up a printf here and see what happens. So we're putting up a printf, and in that particular printf, basically what we are saying, the value of a equals 2, and then we have got a percentage %d, and then we can put up a new line, and then we are saying the value of b equals 2. So here our format specifier for float will be f, and then we are putting up a new line, and then we are saying c, the format specifier for character is s. So basically this will be the first part, giving us our format specifier for each one of them, and then to finish it up we have to put up our variables, that is a, b and c, and then actually we terminate. So let's terminate and let's execute and see what happens. So when we execute this particular program, basically it gives us actually the value of a as 0, the value of b as 0.00, actually with 5 decimal, and then the value of c, it gives us the word null. So it's very important to understand that. So that is one part of it, of actually implementing what you call global variable. The second part of it, let's go and see what happens. Here actually we have declared a local variable called result. So this is a global variable called result, and we have declared actually 2 more functions, and we want to access the result on the 2 more function. Here the second part of it, here we are calling up our functions. Here we have actually declared our functions, and here we have actually defined our function. Now here we have declared a local variable, 2 local variables called a and b. So basically we have declared 2 variables here. These are local variables a and b, and we have access our global variable result here. So this is a global variable, and we are printing up the sum of A and B. And here also we have access our global variable again in our second function, and we also declared some local variables. So basically the concept here, instead of having variables again and again, we have declared one global variable and use it both onto functions sum and function multiply, although having up the same number but taking up a different value on different functions. So let's run and see what happens. So when we run this particular program, basically what does it give? The sum of A and B is 50, and the product of A and B, it is actually 200, and we had the same global variable being shared into two or different functions. So thank you, and that makes up the end of this particular lesson. In our next lesson, basically we are going to talk about the control structure.